Cecilia, Sherman here, the Crazy Asian. Thanks for your question on LinkedIn. I thought I'd put together this video to be able to help explain a little bit further the message that I sent you. The message that I sent you is really just a soundbite. I think in this video I can go a little bit more long-winded and explain kind of the context of what I think it takes to be visible within an organization and a corporation. So one of the first things that I would say, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, in order to be visible, you need to be visible. In other words, you need to be seen. You need to be connecting with people, and that way they can see you. So one of the first things that I would do if I'm new at an organization, and I consider new under 5 years at an organization, and I would get to know people. So one of the struggles that I find is a lot of times people are hired in kind of a cohort group, and they get to know those people, and they end up creating like a business comfort zone. And so they end up having lunch with those same people constantly. So they're not really networking beyond maybe 10 people. Or they work in a group, and so they get to know those individuals. And so what I would do, if you're comfortable face to face, is I would pop my head into different cubicles or different offices and say, hey, I'm new here. Would love to get to know you. Would love to get to know your story. Would you be open to grabbing coffee or lunch in the cafeteria? And just start scheduling some meetings. So for a lot of people, you work Monday to Friday, and those are some great opportunities at lunchtime to really get to know people within an organization, within one company. The other one is you have a manager. Get to know that manager really well. Sit down with lunch with them, get to know their story, what got them there, how can you help them win? That can be extremely powerful for you from a career progression perspective. The other thing that I would do is look at that manager that's for you, and then look at the other departments of that same manager, and then get to know those other managers. If you want to get promoted from within the organization in a different department, it's going to sure be a lot easier if you know the key people in leadership that are going to be looking for those that role, and going to be able to be a supporter of you in the interview process, because it's a lot easier to promote within, and you're going to know about the jobs that are going to be posted on the outside before they're posted on the outside, because you're there on the inside. And so that can be really, really helpful. And so you have to get outside of that comfort zone that people typically establish in a business context. The other thing that I would say is, if you're not comfortable doing that face-to-face, like popping your head into different offices or talking to people, complete strangers in the hallway, then that's where LinkedIn becomes extremely valuable in an organization. You can find out, if you look up your organization on LinkedIn, maybe there's a lot of people, maybe there's 200 people in the organization that are affiliated with that organization, and then see if they're currently active there. And then I would just shoot them an email, right? Shoot them a message, just say, Jim, this is Sherman. I saw that you're relatively new to I'm relatively new to the organization. Saw that you've been working here for like 10 years on LinkedIn or whatever the message might be. And then, because I'm doing this from company to company email, right? And then saw that you're been here for 10 years on LinkedIn. Would love to be able to pick your brain. Would you be open to grabbing coffee or lunch? And so that's going to be able to give you the great opportunity to get to know people individually. And so you're building that digital footprint. I'm going to come to that a little bit later. And so in that conversation, let's say you sit down, you're having coffee, you're having lunch with that person. It's all about them. Now, it's not an interrogation, but you just want to know their story. What got you here? Where are you hoping to go? Where do you see the opportunity for me, being a relatively new hire, to go? Are there particular departments that you think have really strong leadership, if that's what you want to learn? Are there certain departments that are really good technically that can really give me this strong skill set to be more analytical, or being able to understand a specific area of the business? And so they can give you some of their thoughts on it, as well as they can give you connections with other people. Final question that I would ask them is, who do you think I should be sitting down with to get to know in this organization? And they're going to tell you some different people. And if they don't tell you some different people, that's no big deal. Now, what I'd say, majority of the time, you're going to reach out to somebody face to face or via email, and they're going to want to sit down with you. And again, it's just, there's like a half-hour conversation. You're not getting their entire life story, but you're wanting to connect with them and see if you can get to know them from a business perspective, and then by getting to know more people in your organization, it's going to help you be seen in your organization. What I would do as well, in order to be seen in your organization, is I would look at getting outside of the organization to network and connect. So So I think about like young professionals organizations that are within cities. I think about industry conferences that are coming up. Maybe there's something specifically that could align with what you want to do. And definitely, I have no problems investing money. And that's the way I view it. $100 to go to a conference. If for me, I'm going to get some more networking out of it and get some great opportunities to be able to learn and grow. And so that's going to be really, really valuable for you as you start building out your professional network, that you're seen in the industry as someone that is interested in the industry. At the same time, what you're going to find is in specific industries, that song, "It's a Small World After All," is absolutely true. You're going to get to know a lot of the different players, the different movers and shakers, and you're going to be able to get to know other organizations that exist in your industry that you might not have known. And by being seen at those industry events, starts trickling back to work, right? So let's say that there's a manager that you just had coffee with, 2 weeks ago, and they see you at the exact same industry conference. They might approach you and say, "Hey, why did you decide to go there?" And then you can explain to them. So I find that to be extremely valuable, extremely powerful, by being able to get out of your organization and start networking. That can be really good. The last one that I would say that I think sometimes people forget about is your nonprofits and your philanthropy, right? So there's a great opportunity to be able to connect in your community, become a community player and contributor by giving of your time, your talents, and or your resources, your money, to various charities or organizations that you have an affinity for, right? So even if no good connections come out of it, you want to make sure that you really align with the organization and you're excited about being able to give of your time, talents, and resources to that specific organization. So if you're not really into animals, then don't go volunteer for the Humane Society. If you don't care about, children, then don't join the Boys and Girls Club. Don't become a big sister or big brother in that organization if you're not aligned with their vision and their mission. And so it's a great opportunity for you, if you're new to a community, to get to know the various charities that exist. Go talk to the different executive directors, the different member coordinators, so that way you can get to know these various charities, and you don't have to give everybody of your time, talents, and resources. I'd pick one or two, and they're people that, and they're organizations that you're super passionate about. So as you think about becoming visible, hopefully you can take advantage of your coffee time. Oh, that's what I would say. So you can see by networking in your organization, networking outside of your organization, a lot of that's not going to happen between your 8 to 5. So typically there's like before work, right? 7 o'clock, you're meeting up with somebody. Maybe after work, 5:30, 6 o'clock, you're meeting somebody with for appetizers or something. And then of course your lunch hour. So you're basically tapping into your own personal time in order to be seen. And so that's the tough thing, I think, for a lot of people, is that they think that, well, I go to work and I do really hard, I really do a great job. Why aren't people being attracted to me? Well, it's because you're not going above and beyond, and that's what it's going to take in order to be seen as, a thought leader, an industry contributor, a real go-getter in your organization. You need to do above average. You need to go above and beyond. And so you're tapping into a little bit of that personal side of things. And so now somebody would say, well, that'd burn you out. Not at all. Like I different charities that I've belonged to, they're things that I'm super passionate about. One was education. I was on a board for a school. Another one I sit on a board for is we give food for kids on the weekend. Like, these are things that I'm super passionate about. I really enjoy, and I align myself with what they're about. The industry one's super easy. I really like what I do. I like what I do from a work perspective. And so I actually love talking to other people that are in the industry. What are they doing? What are they finding success in? What's kind of their pushback? And so you should be really enjoying those moments. You might not necessarily be like me from a standpoint that you want to go out and meet new people and talk to strangers, which I love doing. I love, work in the room. But I'd say for a lot of people, if you're passionate about the content, if you're passionate about the mission, then you have no problems going outside of your work time and jumping into your personal time to do these things. So if you're not passionate about that thing, right? So if you're in, let's say, accounting, and you're not passionate about accounting, then do not join the accounting association in your local city. If you're passionate, though, about, let's say, small business administration or entrepreneurship, then go get involved with that. that's where you're going to find the enjoyment. And so going to that extra meeting, let's say on a Friday evening from 5 to 7, won't feel like work because that's something that you're passionate about, something that you're excited about. If you don't know what your passions are, then see what you're reading. What are you spending your personal time reading? Now, for some people to be like, well, I really love cricket. Well, then are there opportunities for you to then to go coach cricket? Is there an opportunity for you to go work with a large sports organization? Maybe your local city puts on cricket games. I think there's a lot of things that people could do that aligns with their passion and doesn't necessarily have to be exactly the way that you first think of it. So again, thanks for the question, and hopefully this video gives you a little bit more context on that little soundbite. Have a fantastic day. Sherm's out.